Are we live, ladies and gentlemen? Let's have a look here. Do we have a signal? Do we have a transmission? Do I have confirmation of a transmission? After the notifications go out again, huh? All right, looks like we're live. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, ladies and gentlemen. This is your host, Joe Imbriano, the Fullerton Informer, coming to you live from the busted up streets of Fullerton, California, on this Friday, the 25th of August, 2023. Coming to you from a city run by absolute moronic, imbecilic criminals, inhabited by a bunch of apathetic, stupid, cowardly, myopic government employees and their bootlicking, lackey sycophants. This is your host, Joe Imbriano, PO Box 4121, Fullerton, California, 92834, on the web at thefullertoninformer.com, 5gdangers.com, WiFiDangers.com, VaxDangers.com, CellTowerDangers.com, 5gdangers.com, 60gigahertzdangers.com. On it goes, folks. A lot of websites. So here we go. I guess the bets are on in Las Vegas about how much Donald Trump weighs. Oh, yes. And the booking photo. Oh, he supposedly got arrested. Oh, yes. Oh, the media circus. For all you stupid idiots that watch TV, this one's for you. Okay? No, this bud's not for you. The podcast is for you. Okay? You know, Donald Trump is a cartoon character. How many Donald Trumps are there? There are just as many Donald Trumps as there are Joe Biden wax dummy lookalikes with masks on. The Donald Trump you see on the idiot box is just a man playing a role, and there are several actors playing his role. They all have different height and weight, and they wear different outfits. And it's all this big mockery in your face. Okay? Now, if you think Donald Trump, honestly, look, the headline that should be trending right now is treasonous, duplicitous imposter has been involved in the staging of a fake arrest with a fake mugshot, and there's been a false police report written. That's kind of what's going on, folks. This whole thing is a joke, okay? There are over 1,000 people that disappeared in Maui during this fire. They're not dead, folks. I believe they've been kidnapped. And most of the missing are children. And so everybody's focused on the Trumpstein circus, right? You know, I had this guy that stares at his TV set all night long in his kitchen. He come over to me and said, "Oh yeah, they're talking about how much Trump weighs in Vegas. They're making bets on it." Yeah, that's what they're talking about on the television. Can I tell you something, folks? If you are really stupid enough to watch television, do me a favor. Get the heck off of this stream. Go watch something else. If you're still watching television after all of the things that has happened in the past few years and about all the things that are going on right now, there's absolutely no hope for you. And I'm not kidding. If you sit there and watch the nightly news instead of, making preparations for what's coming and taking care of your family and making sure that everything's tidied up around your house, making sure that you have adequate supplies, your shopping lists have all been checked off, you have backup systems, redundancy systems for the necessities in the event of the unthinkable. If you've got time to sit there and watch the TV, get out of here and don't come back. And I don't want to hear, oh, Joe, I don't like your yelling. Oh, Joe, you're such a pompous a-hole. You know what? You're a moron if you watch television, okay? You have to be a moron to watch television. And I'm sorry. Most people are morons, folks. I'm telling you right now, you'll never figure anything out if you're a moron, and you'll never stop being a moron if you keep watching TV. Oh, gosh. I hope my wife doesn't get this notification. She's going to be all over me. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, here's the deal. Trump is a fraud. He's a clown. He's a criminal. He's a New York bankster bankruptcy whore, okay? He's a failed businessman, and he's a master of deception. He's a freaking comedian, ladies and gentlemen. He's not a statesman, okay? He's a con man. And the guy that you're looking at in the so-called mug shots or whatever isn't even him. Just like the guy you see trip in front of all the people at the Biden thing isn't Joe Biden. The guys they got these guys wearing rubber masks, parading around making fun of us. You know, they make it look like we got a wax dummy running the country so that anything can go, and it does. Oh well, look at they got us laughing at Trump. They got us. And what's really scary is the problem with Trump is he's a cartoon character and a con man and a criminal that has been given to us to divide us, okay, and to make us fight with each other, because that's what they want us to do, is they want us fighting with each other and eventually physically hurting each other to the point where they can come in and just say, okay, that's enough, kids, recess is over, now we're in control. Now there's new rules on the playground, okay? And that's what they're going to do, folks. They're just waiting for the right crisis to roll the troops. You see, a real statesman that represents the American people's interests would lead this constitutional republic by, first of all, eliminating the Federal Reserve completely, by calling the United States a constitutional republic and not a democracy, by ending all foreign aid to all countries immediately, by bringing all our troops home from all the foreign bases and immediately putting them to work on repairing the infrastructure of the United States, cancel all the debt illegally owed to the Federal Reserve, end all federal alphabet agencies, revert all the states' rights back to the states, end the usurpation of all the authority by the centralized federalization of this country, and go back and restore the states' rights to where they were and what they were prior to the end of the Civil War. And abolish the Internal Revenue Service, abolish the Department of Education, abolish the FBI, the CIA, and end the holding of office of all dual citizens. I mean, it's such a no-brainer. Get rid of all the weaponized cell towers, roll back the ban on the incandescent lights, do what Muammar Gaddafi did and drill for primary water and let everybody in the United States have their own water source, end the federal ownership of all federal lands and redistribute it back into the hands of the people. I could go on, folks. We haven't had a president for I don't know how long, folks. We've had a stooge that has been putting the screws to us for the bankers so they can steal everything and enslave us and murder everybody while they get off on, raping children. And you guys are worried about how much Trump weighs and the mugshot. You know, did you guys hear what I just said? I mean, even if the president did one thing that I just mentioned, that'd be a heck of a lot. What did Donald Trump give us? Let's see. Donald Trump gave the stage to Fauci. He gave us the virus narrative. He gave us the vaccine. He gave us the lockdowns. He gave us the 5G rollout. He gave us the national identification card. He gave us all of the divisive politics. And he gave us these tax breaks that went to these corporations that didn't need them in the first place. He gave out all this stimulus money to people and corporations that didn't deserve it. He locked everything down and bribed everybody with dirty stimulus money. And he literally single-handedly destroyed all of these small mom and pop businesses. And everybody worships this guy like he's some sort of hero. You know why? Because people are brainwashed. And who does the brainwashing? The deniers of Jesus Christ. Trump is a denier of Jesus Christ, ladies and gentlemen. Trump doesn't proclaim the name of Jesus Christ. He denies Jesus Christ. So do the people he works for, ladies and gentlemen. Now, when you look at where Trump took this country, the only thing people the people that can positively say about Trump is, yeah, he's going to do this, he's going to do all the white hats, the red hats, the blue hats, the black hats, whatever. Folks, the United States is in big trouble because the people are stupid and they're cowards, all right? The average person on the street, I'm sorry, and you're not going to like this. That's why I said this is not for the faint of heart. The average person on the street's a moron, folks, because they watch TV. You cannot be intelligent and watch TV. You want to know why? Because if you are intelligent, you couldn't sit in front of that thing for more than 5 minutes because it'd make you throw up or angry. Anybody that stares at a television is, seriously, they've got some issues, folks. And that includes your family, okay? And maybe even your spouse or your children. I don't care. I mean, look, they've been using the television to brainwash and subvert this country since they started the thing, okay? I mean, when you look at, the Tavistock Institute and MK Ultra and flicker rate manipulation and, Talmudic Kabbalah and all of the stuff that goes into the spell casting and all of the broadcasting and all of the indoctrination in the schools. I mean, for crying out loud, we just had this fake moon landing from India. Seriously, did you see that CGI toy that India supposedly landed on the moon? I mean, do you see what the TV is doing to people, folks? Do you see what's happening to people? Do you see what is being done? Donald Trump has been put in place to start a civil war, and their next move is probably going to be to fake his assassination. Because that's in the cards, folks. Because they need to get a civil war to get the troops on the ground here, to get the guns away from the American people. And that's a key component of one of the next phases of their agenda. They can't put us in cages if we'll fight going in, okay? Once they take the guns away, they can put you in any cage they want, and you won't be able to stop them. They've already showed us in Hawaii and Paradise how they can just use a directed energy weapon and burn up your neighborhood with you and lock you in your car and incinerate you as the police block the exits to the evacuation routes. They've already showed their hand that they don't blow up the houses that are painted in blue, only the ones that the common man or woman live in, like you and I. You know, they don't like these. You know what this is? Do you know what this does to a laser beam or a directed energy weapon, folks? It'll scramble it, okay? Put these all over your roof. You want to know why they're putting solar panels all over everything, folks? Do you know how easy it is to burn up a house with a laser that has solar panels? That That's like putting a gigantic bullseye on your roof. Okay? Now, I will tell you right now that they've got all these weapons that you don't even understand, that they'll never tell you about, but they'll show you how they use them, and then they'll laugh at you and tell you that it's climate change that caused it. They'll tell you that a guy cooking pig's feet in Samoa, who's running a charcoal 3-day luau festival, is the responsible person for the fires, right? Because of the amount of greenhouse gas coming off of the barbecue and the pig in the pit, right? Do we have an audience here, ladies and gentlemen? Do we have an audience? So, there's so many things they literally put in our face. And by the way, folks, the reason that they do what they do, their religion demands that their atonement comes from giving advanced warning and having our permission before they commit their sin against us, before they wrong us. And that's what the movies are for. That's what it's all about, folks. The movies are all about telling us what they're going to do to us. And if we don't say no and we don't stop them, then that means that that they've got our permission and that it's not wrong to do it. Everything they do comes with advanced warning, advanced notice, and our implied consent. Why? Because they've conditioned the average person to become a moron. Now, what is the definition of a moron, ladies and gentlemen? Well, it's someone who can't think. And how does a person end up not being able to think? Well, I'll tell you, it's accomplished through two basic mechanisms. Both mechanisms involve rote repetition, okay? That is one of the foundational principles of mind control is repetition. The other is a component known as trauma-based mind control, okay? Where they literally bombard you and traumatize you with an overload of images or information or any combination thereof that forces you to abandon cognitive function, go into a catatonic state, and allows your mind to be programmed. What does television have every night? It has programming. They are television programs. What kind of information and imagery is on the television every night? Traumatic, horrific images and stories, most of which aren't even real. And then the movies are filled with traumatic images and stories, most of which are not even real. The music is filled with traumatic lyrics and tones and sounds that are not even real unless you're a resident of the pit of hell and Abaddon is your best friend and Apollyon is your father. Folks, the average person is a moron because they choose to be a moron. Many years ago, when my father would come home from his factory job and he would say, son, all these people at my work, they're all bragging about how they're not married and how they're all cheating on their taxes and get all this free stuff for their children. And, they live with their girlfriend and they get, all this, this welfare and food stamps. And some of them are getting houses bought for them and they don't have to pay for their insurance. They don't have to pay for this. They don't have to pay for that. They don't have to pay for the... And he's like, I don't understand. My father was just a really simple, honest, hardworking Italian guy, right? And, 4th, 5th, 6th grade education, but honest as the day was long. Tons of integrity. Could not understand, how these people were getting away with all this and why the government would allow it. And, as he got a lot older, and I have to tell you something, my father watched television every night, and it was really sad. I did everything I could I mean, I remember putting staples in the cable wire, magnetizing the television screens, literally, cutting the feed to the antenna, you name it. I tried messing with the circuit breaker, everything to get him to stop watching television, to the point where he got really mad and realized what was going on. I don't know how many times the cable company came out. But my point is that I finally was able to explain to him that the government is doing it on purpose to make you hate these people and to destroy their families and to subvert the society. Because that's what they are doing. It's divisive and destructive, and it's by design. That's their plan, folks. Divide and conquer and destroy. It's very effective if you're a psychopath. It's really easy if you're a sociopath. And it's really enjoyable if you're really evil, and these people are. They're all the above. He understood. And, towards the end of his life, when he was dying from cancer, we had a lot of good conversations. And, the truth dawned on him at a point in his life where, he was able to let it go and, not be mad at all this stuff. I said, Dad, they're doing it on purpose. I said, everything that you and Mom have been trying to do your whole life, raise a family, teach us things that are right, and work hard and be honest and love God, love Jesus, take care of your children, raise them the right way. Everything they do is the opposite of that, to screw it all up. You try to stay healthy, you try to get ahead, they raise the interest rates, they let inflation take away your earning power, they poison your children's minds, they poison your children's bloodstreams, they poison your children's water, they poison their diet, they poison your garden with the pesticides, they poison everything, right? And the average person sits in front of their TV set to this day. And let me tell you how much more of an exponential increase towards being a moron has become self-evident. It's directly proportionate to the size of their television now, folks. The bigger the TV, the bigger the moron. Okay? Let me repeat what I just said. The bigger the television screen, the bigger the moron you're dealing with, okay? Some people have these huge TVs on the wall. They never shut them off. The blue light's on all night. Don't waste your time on those people. Do not try to wake those people up. Have you ever tried to have a conversation with an unconscious drunk? Have you ever tried to reason or rationalize or explain to a semi-conscious drunk that they're about to get run over? The only thing you can do to someone like that is literally physically grab them and pull them out of the street so they don't get hurt. But if the average person that is in your inner circle sits in front of a TV set, don't waste your time or your breath on them. Move on. You need to start, if you haven't already, spending time with quality people who have a functioning brain. You need to spend your time as quality time using your functioning brain to discern the times we live in and to make preparations for the times ahead. And if you have time on your hands, you can rotate your canned food supply, move the oldest stuff to the front. You can make sure that your water bottles are rotated, that your stored water, and you have enough, your batteries are good. You have a battery tester, test your batteries, make sure you got extra flashlights, and make sure your generator has stable in the gas tank or propane attachments. Make sure you have an extra O-ring kit. Make sure, folks, spend your time wisely. Redeeming the time, for the days are evil. You don't sit in front of a TV set like a Pavlovian animal waiting for the din-din bell every night. It's tragic where I live that everybody on my street stares at a television screen every night. And, these are supposedly highly educated, respected communist pinko pigs, right? That's what they are. They're all government agents and school district sycophants and everything else. They're all part of the problem. But they stare at television screens. They're morons! And you can't fix them. And if you can't find people that are awake, then work on your own little area and sphere of influence, whether it's a cabin in the mountain, an apartment in Yonkers, or it's a ranch in Yorba Linda. It doesn't matter. Spend the time doing things that are productive, that will have and pay future dividends for your family's quality of life, safety, and chances of survival. Donald Trump is a fraud, was a fraud, and even when they fake his death, it will always be a fraud, okay? Because it's all Masonic mockery on the satanic, electronic, black scrying mirror, electronic Ouija board called a smart television, controlled by the deniers of Jesus Christ, who fill your eyes and your head and your ears and your heart full of filth and lies and deception and murder and vile, evil, disgusting, abominable trash that is literally just oozing out of their hearts. Why? Because they are of their father, the devil. Can't you tell? Haven't you seen all the horns on the heads of their chicks in the videos, right? All of these, these fancy female stars are all satanic whores, right? You know, I have my mother and father's wedding picture on one of my walls, and it's a very large, I had it blown up and framed in a very special way. This picture's frame is probably about 4 feet by 4 feet, okay? It's a big wooden frame. And I look at my mother, right, and her wedding picture on her wedding day in the limousine after the ceremony, as they're, as they've left the reception, going to their honeymoon, where they went to Niagara Falls, right? Back 60 years ago. And I look at my mother, and I look at what they put on television now, and they put that out there and parade that out there as a woman. And I look at the picture of my mother in her wedding gown, and I think back to my grandmother and my great-grandmother and my aunts. And I look at what I see on these magazines in the grocery store, and I look at what I see in these video game avatars, and I look at what I see in these TikTok videos, and I look at what I see on the news, and I look at what I see in the movies, and I look at what I see on the television. And you want to know something? These people are going straight to hell. There is no chance for them. They're not redeemable. You want to know why? Because they've all committed blasphemy of the Holy Spirit. That's how they got their contracts. That's how they got famous. They've sold their soul, folks. I want you to look back, and I want you to look at what your grandparents' wedding photo looked like, or what your great-grandparents' wedding photo looked like, or what your great-grandmother or your mother, or maybe you didn't have the best parents, but I'll tell you, somewhere up the line you did. But what they're feeding us today, this supposed statesman called Donald Trumpstein, really? Really? That's a statesman? Have you heard the guy? The guy's a New York bankruptcy gangster whore, folks. That's what he is. He's went bankrupt so many times. Terrible businessman. Dirty as the sewer pipes, folks. And it's all theater. Because they just literally used directed energy weapons in Lahaina and mass murdered a bunch of people, and they stole their homes and their properties. And I think they kidnapped all their children. There's 1,000 people missing in Maui right now. That's a lot of people for a small town. The whole freaking town disappeared. They incinerated it, and then the people all went bye-bye. And we're worried about what Donald Trump weighs. You guys all worried about his mugshot? You want to buy one of his T-shirts? You want to know something, folks? And, you know, I know there's a lot of you out there that think Donald Trump is great. No, he's not. Did Donald Trump and the Federal Reserve, the illegal private central bank that got a bunch of people murdered on the Titanic, that were coming over, the innocent people that were murdered on the Titanic when they blew the ship up to sink it to the bottom of the ocean, so the people that were on the Titanic coming over here to stop the Federal Reserve Act from being passed on Jekyll Island, do you think that he did anything to stop the Federal Reserve? No. You know what he did? He printed more Federal Reserve notes and gave them to business owners and said, here's your hush money. Here's your tax break. Oh, by the way, here's your tax credit, like 30 grand per employee, and you don't have to share it with your employees. You can pay a minimum wage and you can keep all this money and you can keep cracking the whip on them and then fire them when everything slows down, right? Oh, yeah, and then we'll just, you know, cut the corporate tax and here's some more Federal Reserve notes, more debt, more expansion of the debt. Oh, it's okay. Just take this vaccine. It's fine. And, you know, we're gonna use the military to roll it out. We're going to do Operation Warp Speed and mass produce it for everybody. And don't worry, you know, Fauci, you know, he knows what he's doing. And, you know, the lockdowns, we're going to win this virus fight. And, you know, we're going to have the vaccine and we're going to do what we need to do. The American people are going to come out ahead on this. And, you know, we're going to be fine. And we just have to give it another couple weeks. And, you know, 2 years later, here we go, right? Another round's coming. Now they're about to fake his death. Now they're about to fake his death and, you know, get people starting to kill each other so they can take our guns away. That's what they're going to do. Haven't you seen all these people coming unhinged? I want to tell you something, folks. I'm going to tell you something right now, and I want everybody, all of you listening to me, this is your homework assignment. I want you all to watch a movie, and this is a very important movie. You need to watch a movie called The Control Factor. This is a movie that shows how they, you know, use the microwave frequencies to mind control people to kill people. This movie was put out in 20 years ago, folks. And when you look at some of the stuff that's going on with some of these people that are supposedly coming unhinged and killing their wife or whatever, I want you to watch this movie. It's called The Control Factor. You need to understand that they have this voice-to-skull technology that they can beam into your head and make you hear things and make you do things. Now, the movie The Cell came out later. I don't want to go into that, but I want to go into more specifically the movie The Control Factor, okay? This is a very important movie that you need to watch. And remember I told you that their Kabbalah religion requires that they tell us in advance what they're going to do to us so they can do it to us. Okay? This movie clearly shows the technology, and by the way, the technology exists to mind control people and to control their central nervous system. They have figured out what frequency can paralyze you, can take your breath away, to make you hear voices. They can put brain waves inside the electrical grid. I mean, they're already putting brain waves in the electrical grid, folks. I mean, it's like, they're putting all this programming on your screens. They also can run frequencies through the wires in your house, folks. I mean, think about it. They could do it. You know what that smart meter is there for? Do you know what the smart meters are capable of? I bet most of you don't. Well, I'll tell you what they are capable of. They're capable of things you never dreamed of. That's why they put them on your house. They can surge your electrical system to blow up the refrigerator and air conditioner that has a flammable refrigerant that's under high pressure. They can blow that up and start your house on fire as they hit it with a directed energy weapon from the roof, hitting your solar panels, right? The solar panels are a literal bullseye for a directed energy weapon. They are the most conductive and the most easiest thing on the face of the earth to ignite with a directed energy weapon, folks. Because they are built to receive energy, not to reflect it back. This reflects it all back, folks. See this? See that? I don't paint with all the colors of the wind. I don't fly the rainbow flag. You just have to send it all right back at them and scramble it. You know the old television screens, the old cathode ray tubes, you know those big boob tubes? You can plug those things in, and someday you'll realize what they're good for. That's why they got rid of them all, folks. Do you know why they banned the incandescent light bulbs, ladies and gentlemen? Do you want to know why they banned the incandescent light bulbs? Do you know why they banned the incandescent light bulbs, ladies and gentlemen? Because when there's a frequency attack, they start going on and off because they're very sensitive to voltage drops and frequency manipulations. That's why they got rid of them, because they don't want you to see. That's one of the reasons they got rid of them. But I think it's probably one of the main reasons they got rid of the incandescent light bulbs is they're like a canary in the coal mine when it comes to frequency manipulation. They will flicker and show you that something's cooking, that something is going on. All right? The LED light bulbs are weapons, they're transmitters, they're, you know, look. They have these LED street lights that literally interfere with the television digital signal broadcast. I mean, the LED lights, they put out tremendous amounts of radio frequency energy and waves. They're transmitters, folks. They're surveillance and all kinds of backdoor hacking, and also they're destructive to your health. But the incandescent light bulbs, they don't want you having any, okay? The incandescent light bulbs are like a canary in a coal mine when it comes to frequency attacks and frequency manipulation. They flicker and they give indication of the presence of something going awry with the electromagnetic fields in the home. Okay? So, like you should have goldfish that you test your drinking water with, you should have incandescent light bulbs to make sure that your house is safe and that you're not being targeted. And of course, these right here are going to be worth their weight in gold because, you know, I keep these. You see what this does? It's it's amazing how, you know, what this will do to a laser, what this will do to a beamforming 5G signal, what it does to the LED headlights that are aimed at me at night. I always carry one of these around, so. Put them on your roof. You put solar panels on your roof, you're asking for it, okay? I'm just telling you right now. I'm not knocking solar energy. Don't put them on your house. Put them on your land somewhere else. And don't put them near your propane tanks if you're putting them on your land. Okay? All right, folks, I think we've gone long on this. You know, I'm sorry. But it's really sad when the pastors are criminal morons that promote all of the stuff that the TV promotes, and they protect the people who control the TV, and they don't out the systems of education and medicine and mind control and music. When they don't go, you know, when they let you out early so you can go watch the Super Bowl, or when they're sitting there making their sermon about, you know, the Super Bowl, you know, folks, there's a special place in hell for those clowns too. And here's the thing, I don't wish that anybody goes there, but I'll be honest with you, that's one of the hardest places to get into because it's so obvious that it's so easy not to go there. It's so obvious, it's so repulsive and repugnant and disgusting to revel and to desire and to live for the things of this world when you see how ugly and raunchy and unfulfilling and how unsatisfying and how uncomfortable and how much acclamation it takes for us to accept them. And yet these people, you know, that are involved in the entertainment industry, the music industry, the educational system, the higher levels of education, the administrative functions of education, and even in the clergy and in these religions. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable, folks. Everything has been infiltrated and infested to turn you into a moron and suck you to hell. And I'm sorry. Those aren't my observations, folks. Those are absolute concrete facts. All right? Okay, I'm going to cut this broadcast. I think we've gone long enough. Thanks for staying this long, okay? Get the likes up so we can get the views up and the algorithms to promote this. You know, even though, there's all these things that are done to suppress the truth, folks, I know that we're reaching people all over the world. Even though the Google algorithms suppress this channel, you type the Fullerton Informer in and it won't come up. I've already gone into this, folks. You can type my name in there and you can't find my websites. I mean, when you go to look for all these other controlled opposition circus clowns that got a big smiley face and makeup on, or a picture of a globe on their desk or something, their names come up with 15 different links to their websites and their donate and their shop where they're selling merchandise and everything. And, it's amazing, folks. It's pretty obvious who they don't want you to listen to, folks. And they did the same thing to Jesus when they nailed the truth to the cross 2,000 years ago. And the truth, I'm sorry, but it needs no apologies, ladies and gentlemen. It stands on its own as he reigns and rules forever and ever. And he is seated at the right hand of the Father, above the firmament as we speak, folks. Put your faith and trust in him. Bow the knee, repent of your sin, accept what Jesus has done for you, and live a clean life as you're forgiven and reborn with a clean slate, folks. And then your eyes can see and you won't be afraid anymore, because you won't be afraid to die. And their fear and their mind control won't work, because you'll have eyes to see, because the Holy Spirit will give you the wisdom. All right? Clear conscience, no fear, and wisdom, and eyes wide open, ears wide open, a mouth to speak truth in love, a mouth to speak truth to power, and a mind and a nose to smell a rat when it's peeing all over the floor. All right, folks, that's what we're here to do. And we're going to continue this broadcast on another day. Thanks for tuning in. In Jesus' name we go, ladies and gentlemen. Take care.